Hello friends, welcome back to Getting Started with Python, and in this video we will be covering data type container in Python. As we saw in the last video, there in container there are four type of data types to hold the object together or to contain the objects of different types in a way we can use them later. So there are four types of data types. A container of type container are list, tuple, set, and dictionary. So let's see what is a list. So list is a first thing is a ordered. It comes like one element comes after another and then after another. And as you can see, it's indexed by a integer and starting with 0, 1, 2, and so on. And iteratable means you can iterate over it. You can access line like a one by one, each element you can access one by one. So that means iterable. And mutable means it can be changed. So if I want to change an item, so if I want to change an item at index 2 right here, and I want a banana rather orange, I can change that value in this data type. So I can say fruits at 2, let's put it banana, right, rather orange. So that means it's changeable. You can change the values in this data type. Okay, and next thing is it allows duplicate. What does that mean? That means I can have a list which has all apples or all kiwis or multiple values of one item. And the lastly but most importantly, it supposed mixed data types. So what does that mean? So it can have apple at the same time, which is a string, and it can have integer like a number 1, 2, 3, or also the boolean. So if you have, so you can visualize this items in a bag. So you have a bag and you can have either some metal coins or some like a different objects like some fruits or such. So in the programming world, you can have numbers and strings, which is coins in this case, or false, which is a boolean. And there are different ways. So it's represented by list class in Python, and for creating list, you can simply use these brackets and start putting your data inside, separated by these semicolons right here, these commas, sorry, these commas. So there's a one way. And another way, you can use the curly braces, again the item separated by the commas. All right, let's go back to our REPL IDE and see how does it work. So this is our same file. I commented out the code which is not required for this particular slide, and we will start creating a empty list first. So let's run and first check again where you are, if you are in your basics folder or not, and then run python data types. So what happens here? So I have a fruits list which is empty, and you need just brackets to initialize it, and it's an empty list and it says fruits, which is empty. Now let's put some fruits inside my fruit list, and I move my comments right here. Okay, so I'm creating my list and I'm putting 3 fruits: apple, orange, and kiwi. So now let's see what happens. Now I have apple, orange, and kiwi in my list. That's great. So 3 strings. Now what happens if I put a list inside a list? That means a nested list. In we use this word nested list. So that means like I have a list of these 3 fruits inside a big list of fruits. So you have a list like which start from here and end here, and you have another list which start from here and end here. And let's see what it does. So sometimes, as I mentioned again last time, our REPL ID can get refreshed if you open for extended period of time. That's okay if that happens. Your data is saved. Only thing you have to do is you have to reload your browser and make sure you are in the right directory. Okay, and you run your file again. All right, so let's see what's happening here. So it printed my creating list right here, and first time it's empty, and then it created the list of 3 fruits, and then it added a nested list, like list inside a list, like this. Okay, so far so good. Now I want to say update my list. So I want to change um, like fruits 0. uh, what fruits at 0 means. So what's in here at the 0 location, as we saw in here. So at 0, 1, 2, and in 0 position is actually is another list. So what happens now? So if I say this is my list and now I want to change it with my vegetable list, for example. So let's see what happens. There you go. So my list got replaced. My whole this fruit list got updated with my vegetable list, which is squash, zucchini, and spinach. Now, if I want to add in a more item to my list, what happens? I mean, how can I do that first thing? So to do that, I use a function, built-in function using append. So what it does, it do? It adds a new item at the end of the list. So let's see how that works. All right, going up. So appending item to list, and it has a list as is, and banana and apple up to here, and it appended winter melon at the end right here. So far so good. Now let's see how. Okay, so append is for appending, as the name says, at the end of a list. Now I don't want to add my new item at the end. I want it to add a particular a given position. So one way we saw it, you can access it by the like this, by the index, by the brackets. Another way to do is using insert. So let's see how the insert works. So you use the built-in method insert, and you give the index at what index you want it to be updated or inserted, sorry, and then melon and the item what you want it to be. So let's see now, and let's run it. So what it did do, so you see the last my list is this. So I have a list of vegetables, then banana, then apple, and then winter melon. Now I'm not updating it. So in this time I was updating it, is overwriting it at 0. But in insert, what does it do? It makes space for this new item and add this item to that given index, and push the, if there is another item available there, it push it forward. So what it did do, it scoot my this vegetable list over to the one, and it makes its own space right here. So that's the difference between insert and updating a list like this. It will not overwrite it, rather it will make space for new coming item. So keep that thing in mind. So now the another function, a built-in function I want to show you is the extend. So what extend does? So extend actually can add multiple items at the end of list together. So here we are adding watermelon and pineapple in the addition to whatever we have, so it will get added to the end together. So let me clear it and show it again. Okay, so now it has melon, which was from the last that was from my last list, and you have this vegetable list right here, and you have banana, apple up to winter melon, and added my pineapple and watermelon next to it. So that's how it works right here. All right, now this is all good. Now how I can access my items. So for accessing, there's a different ways of doing it. So first thing is you just go for that index, and if you just access an item at a given index and assign it to a variable, and that's all you have to do. So let's see how it does it. So I'm accessing my first element, which is I know at 0, and it's melon. That's great. Now how about doing at the end or some other indexes? So in the indexing in Python, the way it works is if you use -1, that means the last item of your list. and -2 and so on. So if you go here, so this is 0, 1, 2. That's great. And now if you go in negative, that becomes -1, -2 and -3. So backwards, 1, 2, 3, negative, backwards. That's the representation. So let's say in this case, if I have -1, that means my last element fruit is a watermelon. So it should print watermelon. There you go. So the first element is melon and the last element is watermelon. Cool. Let's do for one more for second last element, which is my pineapple right here. Okay. All right, so the last element is the pineapple right here. That's good. Okay, so now we'll see how we can remove an item from our list. So in here, removing is can be done using a built-in function remove. So how it does is you use that object that you want to remove and call fruits.remove and that object, and it will remove that element from that the item from that list, and we'll print that list after removing. So as you see, the apple will be removed, and let's see, the list will be a list without apple. And let's see. So in here we had apple, and here we don't have any apple. So that's how it works. And now if I want to remove the last element from the list and return it, how would that work? So it's right here. So list after removing the last item is watermelon. So as you can see, this is the watermelon. So I'm printing two things here. I'm printing the last item and what's the list becomes after removing it. So there's no watermelon in this list. And now the last method or function in Python list is the pop at the index. Like I know which index I want to remove, like at 0 at the beginning, and then let's see what happens. So I know I removed my first melon in this one right here. This is the first melon, and then print my list, so which doesn't have my first or last element right here. So this is for all for list, and the next we will be going over something called tuple, which is a very similar to list. And let's go over to tuples. All right, so here's the tuple. As you can see, it looks very much like a list. This is also ordered. It's iterable, means it can iterate over each object. You can access each object one by one. That's iterable. It's also indexed by integer, and of course it supports the mixed data type. The one thing is different in here is it's immutable. That means you cannot change a value of this the value inside this data structure once it's declared inside. Once it's put it like it's an apple, you cannot change at index 0, it's gonna be a banana. You cannot do that. You cannot update and you cannot delete. So once it's defined, like if I say my fruits list have apple, orange and kiwi, that's all. It's gonna have always apple, orange, kiwi. If you want to have another list of these fruits, you have to assign a new variable. You cannot change the same tuple again. And you use the notation as a tuple function. You can create using either as a tuple function or a brace, the parenthesis, as you can see, or the curly braces right here. There are three ways to declare the tuples. All right, now let's go back to our Replit to execute it. Okay, we are here in the Replit, and here, as you can see, we are in the tuple. And first we start creating our list of fruits using a tuple notation, which is a two parentheses right here. That's all. So we are creating a empty tuple, and so let's see how this looks like. So creating empty tuple, and it will have two parentheses like this. Now let's add some data to it and move my comments right here. I'm adding apple, orange, and kiwi with multiple items, and let's see apple, orange, and kiwi. Great, that looks good. Now I want to create my tuple differently, like using a list right here. Using a list, I'm gonna put a comment using list. So you can pass a list and you can create in a immutable tuple. So there you go. So it's the same, very same, but the only thing difference between a list and a tuple is list you can modify, you can put something else for apple, but in tuple, once it's a tuple, you cannot. And another few ways to create tuple is you can create a nested tuples. That means you can have apple, banana, orange, like in the tuples inside a tuple. So it's like a nested tuples. Let's see how that does that look. So in here, in creating tuple with nested tuple, as you see right here, the same, it will go apple, banana is like a one grouping, and then orange and kiwi. So as you saw in orange, even though it was inside the parenthesis, but still it didn't retain this parenthesis for the one item. So if it has to be more than one item to retain the parenthesis. All right, so now let's see how we access the tuples. So in accessing is very similar to the list, like we use the 0 for the first one and the negative numbering from the backwards. Let's see in the action. So we accessing first item in tuple is actually another tuple, so it gives apple and banana. Now let's do it last two items. Okay, so last item is the kiwi, as you can see, and the second last is the orange, and the first one is the apple, banana. So that sounds good. Now I want to show you what does it mean immutable in this here. So first we will try to delete an item, delete a fruit one, say the fruit, the first one, which is a first tuple. Let's see what happens. It will give me a type error. It will not like it. Yeah. So tuple doesn't support item deletion. That means it's immutable. And also it does not support the updating. So now let's we try to update it as we did for our the list. So fruit 0 at the 0 location. Let's see what happens then. So here again, it will not let you update because it doesn't support item assignment. Since it's immutable, it cannot be changed when it's defined. All right, now we covered here in this this little exercise how the tuple works, and the next we will move on to our set, the next data type. So as you see, there's a little illustration here, like how the sets are. So it's like a different type of items in a big container. So what does it mean? There is no ordering. So that means sets are unordered. It is still iterable because I can still access one item at a time. It's mutable. What does that mean? I can put different things at a different time in my set data type. So in this, like a little big box container, I can put, I can change, I can take my apple out, I can put banana in, or I can take orange out, and so on. And I can reassign the things too. And of course it supports the mixed data type. That means you can have either numbers or string or the Boolean. And the one thing it's specific to set is it does not support duplicate. So if there's a duplicate, if there are two apples in this container, it will make it a 1. You can create a set using the duplicate, like I can have like here. So I use this little curly braces right here to create my set. I can have apple, an apple again, and orange and kiwi. And when I will print it, it will just give me apple, orange, and kiwi. So it will remove all the duplicates of its own, which can have its own good certain applications in some cases where you want to remove the duplicates, where you don't want, where your business case depend on a data structure which which cannot have duplicate, or where could only be unique items. So here, as you see, there's a set function, so you can create a set using either set function or these curly braces like this. All right, now let's jump on to our IDE or the REPL to see in action. Okay, I'm here in my REPL, and as you can see in here, as we can create a set using curly parentheses, curly braces right here, and we are printing it. So I'm running my script and it print this set with orange, apple and kiwi. Now I will be creating a set using duplicates and will be printing this set. So now I have this apple, orange, kiwi and orange 2 times. And let's see what happens. So it's printing orange, apple and kiwi the second time right here. So what it does, it let you create with duplicate, but it filters all the duplicates and only it prints the unique items. And now I want to show an example of the mixed data types. So let's see how the mixed, so I have here one, coins and false. So one, string and boolean. So let's see how this works. So false, as we said, it's unordered. So false can appear in any order, or the boolean, or this came in middle and the string went at the end. So it can appear in any order. So don't expect an order. Don't expect an order when you are using a set data type in Python. All right. So now let's see how to, however, if I change it to true, it won't print true. It will just leave it blank. So I see it only prints the false boolean. Just a fun fact. All right. So now let's see how if we can create the same set using the function set. So first we will be creating set with apple, like with one item. So let's run it. So what did it do? So let me comment out my older things. Okay, so I just want to run the first one. So let's see what happened. As you can see, I put apple, but it became like each other. All the element got split. So what does it do? It takes the one item and consider as a one item in a set. So each got became a characters in its own, and it became a whole set. Now what happens if I do it, pass it as a list? Let's see. So now a list remains a list. So now let's see what happens if I convert this apple as a list. There you go. So it became the apple. So if you don't have the list, it will actually convert the whole thing. It will split on the space and it make it's each character, each letter as a part of the set. All right. Now let's see how we can use the tuple to create the set. So let's, okay. So now let's see, we have a set here. Let's clear it off. And there you go. Oops. All right. There you go. Okay. So I'm just executing only one command here. So it's a set which is created using tuple. And this tuple has 2 duplicate oranges. That means, as we saw, tuple can support duplicates. And it filtered all the duplicates and it just wrote the set of unique items. Now, how you can add the items to the set? So let's see. So it's a simple built-in function add right here. So now I'm adding banana to this list, to this set. And this is a kiwi, orange, banana and apple. And now let's see how we can remove the items from a set. So now there is one thing I would like to mention. There is a different 2 methods to remove an item from a set. One is remove, another is a discard. So in remove, you can use the item you want to remove. So I want to remove apple, and apple does exist. So what it does, it will remove the apple and will print the list. Here I'm printing the list of printing the set after removing my apple item from here. That's great. But if I don't have an object, say remove apple, an object which is say APPL from here, it will error out. So if an item which doesn't exist, it will not like it. It will give you a key error if an item doesn't exist. So just so you know. However, if you use something called discard function right here, even if an item doesn't exist, it will not error out. So let's try it out. So in here, it removed the kiwi and banana and now orange too from here. Now let's add changing the spelling with orange, or let's put it rose, for example, which I know it doesn't exist in my list. So what does it do? It just didn't remove it because it was not there, but also it didn't error out. So if you are so I wanted to bring out this distinction in this case so that you know what's the different option you have for your case. So now let's see how we can do the last item. So the last item, as we saw in the list, you can use pop. So let's get the last item, and the last item is kiwi. So the thing is, it's not really the ordered, so you really don't know which last item is, right? So it will actually remove an item of the list because you cannot really give the index because it's unordered. So it removes the item for the list if you say pop. Like, so if you are doing a say an implementation of a like a juggle thing, like any item can come randomly, you can use pop. Like doing a lottery or that kind of stuff, who is like just you did like a raffle, one item should come, so you can use pop implementation in that case because randomly it will give you one. So it remove item. So removed item is the kiwi right here. So let's see what it does this time. And again, it's the first item or the last item. Okay, so now we so how you can do it, just like a clear, how can you clean the whole the set? So you can use clear for that and your set will become empty in this case. So this concludes the all the set functions and what set data type can do and cannot do and limitations. And the next in the next data structure and the last one, data type, is the dictionary. So let's take a quick look on dictionary. So as you can see, dictionary are also unordered, and this has the indexes like zero. So it's a key actually, that so it stores the key value pair. So it has a 1 and it has a value, but as you saw in the set, there is no key value pairs. So each item in itself just by itself, so it doesn't retain a key for it or a position for it. However, in dictionary, each value is attached with a key, a unique key, and a duplicate key is not allowed. And keys are also immutable. Once you define a key, say 1, you cannot go ahead and say you cannot go and update it. However, you can have another, like say key 4 right here, and can have the same, say Suman here, value right here, but you cannot go and update 1 to 4 right here. And as other data types, it also supports the mixed data type. Like you can have integer, integers, strings, or other data types as well. So in here, the way you can create a dictionary is either you can use dict function like this. You can dict dict, and this is in the parenthesis, and you can pass a curly braces like we do in the set and in the tuples and in the list as other Python container data types. Or you can pass a list like here, as we have a list. And as you can see, this list has a pairs too, like a tuples is a list of tuples here to represent the very same thing. So you have key value, and key value. So the key and value is separated by colon. So as you see in the first, it has 1 is the key and this is a value. 2 is the key and Sally is the value. And 3 is the key and Ride is the value, as you see. In here, in tuples, it has like a tuple of 1, a key and value, and key and value, and key and value. And if you don't want to use dict function, you can simply use what you did here without a dict function. That also create a dictionary. Okay, so now let's hop on to the REPL IDE and execute this thing in the real action. All right, so we are in the our unREPL right here, and we will comment out our code, which we don't need right here. So we'll remove this code. We did cover tuples, and let's remove this code. And now first thing we will do, create an empty dictionary. So we clear it out and run it. So create plain dictionary, the empty dictionary you can create with just the empty curly braces, or you can use this. So it should create the same empty dictionary. So either of this you can do it. Oops. All right, and I can put in the comments like or dict. Now if I want to dictionary with integer stored, actually not sorted here. So I have 1, 2, 3 dictionary with integer keys, and let's see how this one, I'm just commenting this out. Just want to run this code. And as you see, 1 key Suman, 2 Sally, and 3 Ride right here. And now I want to show you how you can do the mixed data type keys, so which is interesting. So now you see 1 is the Suman name, and now I'm using the key, which is a string, of course, here, Suman age, and my value is integer. And now the same, the key is integer, the value is string. Now my key is string and my value is integer. And let's see how it does that. So as you can see, dictionary with mixed data type keys. So 1 Suman age is 25. 2, the second is Sally, and the age is in the character form, is in the string form, and so on. So it's pretty interesting. Now I will be creating the my dictionary using the dict function. So what we did right here, I will be doing using the dict function. So let's comment it out right here. All right, now see, creating dictionary using dict function, and the very same dictionary got created, which got created here, right here. Now let's see how we can create the dictionary pairs. This is a, all right, here and okay. So now the pairs, so there's another way to create a dictionary. It's a list, and rather using the 1 column, the name, you are actually using the tuples to do that. However, the output is the same. So this is another way to create a dictionary. And now we will see how to do the adding the items to the dictionary and updating and deleting and accessing. So for adding the items, there are a couple of ways to do that. One way is you can have an index, like which doesn't exist here, for example, and assign a new name. So you have a new key and new value. So let's see what it did. So now the 4th key is Rashi also came into that. Now I want to update my item 3, for example. So my key 3, I want to replace my Ride to many. So let's see how does that work. So in here, my Ride is got replaced with many. So that's how it works for the updating. Now how would I access it? So accessing an element is very similar to how we did for another data types like list, like tuple, by the key here and the index in the list and tuple. So it will print whichever is at the index 1. So index 1 is Suman. So that's got printed right here. Now let's see how we can remove the items. So first way is to remove item for a given key. As it says, you use the function del right here. So as it says, it will remove the item which has key 4. And who has key 4? The Rashi has key 4. So Rashi will be got deleted right here. And dictionary 4 and it will print my dictionary after that. So as you can see, okay, let's go a little bit up. So what's happening here? Now updated my dictionary and I added my new name right here, key 4. Now I'm accessing Suman and then I'm deleting my 4th right here. Right here. So it's got deleted and it's moved out right here. So you see there are only 3 elements right here right now. Now let's see how you can do the pop like any specific key. So I want to pop the item, say many. I want to pop many out of my list. So how would I do it? So now I popped out my many out of my list and I have only Suman and Sally right now in my list. So this is for a specific index. When I index or key or for a key, if I know the key, I can get that item out of here. Now how to remove the last item from the key or any item, like let's run it a couple of times. So from the last pair is the 2 and Sally, this one. So this is how you can get the one item out of your list. And the last one is if I want to clear my whole list, this is how it will work. It will remove all my dictionary. So all my dictionary is clear now and to be ready again. Yeah, so what we covered in dictionary is we saw the ways to create the dictionary. We saw how we can create using the in this one, like using the dict function and using the curly braces, and how it's a different couple of ways, and using the tuples. And this whole file contains all the examples I covered. So pretty much, and I have commented out most of the things right here. And this is a string, so I'm just putting my triple back. It was giving trouble. All right, so first thing is integer, all the 3 examples of integer. Then string, like different ways of writing or using strings in Python, and how to access the letters in a string, and how they are not mutable. It's immutable, it can't be changed. However, it can be reassigned to a new variable. And Boolean, what the booleans are. And then we moved over onto the list, like how the list are ordered collection, and how have a different built-in function to add, remove, and access the items. And then we moved to the tuple. Tuple is very similar to the our list, but they are immutable. And the next we checked out was the set, how sets are unordered and it doesn't allow the duplicates. And lastly, we covered what dictionaries are and how to create one and how to access the items, and they can support the duplicate items but no duplicate keys. And so that's pretty much for this video. And I will go over the input and output in my next video. And till then, happy coding. If you have any question and concern, if you don't understand a given thing, just leave me a comment, and then I will see you in the next video. Thank you.